Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jada Blossom, and I have another fun sports themed card to share with you today. Hey, so I'm using Jada Blossom's banner dies, their gnome dies, sport add-ons too, their Have a Ball Nomi stamp set and outline dies, their slimline dies, and their So Many Birthdays 2 stamp set, along with the P13 stamping pad skin tones, and Doodlebug's Goal 6-inch pad. And I did assemble this little girl on the Sports Add-ons 2 assembly video, so check that out on that video. And I'm just showing all the pieces that I'm going to use. There we go. And really for this card, I did do some selective die cutting here. So I used that outside scalloped shape from the slimline dies. Oh, and I also used the sport dies from Jada Blossom, sorry. So I did some selective die cutting with that big, long scalloped piece. So I've got a 1-inch strip of paper from that Goal 6-inch paper pad from Doodlebug. You could use any, any soccer-themed paper. Then I did assemble this, or I'm putting together this cute little soccer ball from Jada Blossom Sport Dies. I'm just going to layer those two together. That is Paper Tray Ink white and black cardstock using some Bearly Art glue. Now I'm going to stamp onto some Paper Tray Ink white cardstock with VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink and my Misty. And I'm going to stamp the Goal Getter. There we go. And, stamp it twice if you need to. Just don't press too hard. And there we are. Now on the inside, I'm going to stamp another sentiment. I'm using that same ink, of course. And there, I'm going to pull off another sentiment here. And I'm using my Misty Corner to line it up. And there it is. And I'll stamp that in VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink as well. So I get a kick out of you. And then I'm going to use that So Many Birthdays 2 stamp set to stamp a different fonted Happy Birthday. There are a lot of So Many Birthday stamp sets from Jada Blossom, and matching outline dies. They are perfect for all your birthday cards. I guarantee there's a font you're going to like, and different sizes, So this is a nice big kind of scripty one that's fun. And I'm going to stamp that a few times just so I get a nice clear black image. Remember, it does take a while for this stuff to dry, so be careful. And once I'm happy with it, I'll assemble my little girl gnome here, or give her ball in her hands, right? There it is. Isn't she cute? I just think she's adorable. I used white and red cardstock from Paper Tray Ink, American Crafts cardstock and brown for her hair, and P13 stamping pad skin tones for all of her skin that's showing. Remember that you can get that over at the Jada Blossom blog under Jada Blossom store under Fun Extras. So I'm just going to weight down those runners. So now I have a piece of grass cardstock, and I'll have the measurements underneath this video. I don't have them in front of me while I'm doing some, doing this voiceover. So you'll see that I cut down this, the slimline dies, the scallop part, to be a little bit shorter than an A2 size card front. I just, I cut it halfway, left part of it hanging off the plastic mat, and then I moved it, fit the scallops in and recut it again, just, having the rest that I don't want to cut hanging off the pad, so selective die cutting, just so I can make it the length that I want. And then I'm going to add on this grass. And like I said, I'll have the measurements underneath just because I don't have them with me as I'm doing this voiceover here. So I'm just going to glue this cute little soccer girl down onto the green grass. You could probably use whatever black and white pattern paper you have and then green grass paper from wherever you have, like whatever green grass paper you have, that would work as well. So I am going to cut out some stars and a banner, all from Jada Blossom's banner dies, out of Pure Poppy cardstock. And then I'm cutting out the outline of that sentiment as well, using my Anna Griffin Mini Empress. So I'm going to glue down this little banner, cut it a Pure Poppy in the upper right-hand corner of that little grass piece. I left the black border around that grass. It's just 1/8 of an inch larger, just to help it pop a bit. Now I am going to pop up this sentiment with Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. But like I always say, you know, be careful that you don't, you know, smear your sentiment, because I'm famous for doing that. And just, you know, adding all those little dimensionals in place so my sentiment is evenly popped up. So there's Goal Getter. I get a kick out of you and happy birthday. So, you know, kind of a fun card for your sports enthusiast. And I'm using 3 of these little stars, and that is from the banner dies as well. And I'm going to, you know, use them in a visual triangle, I guess, here, kind of like I always do. Oops, and I didn't even tape me sticking down that last one. Sorry, guys, but I did stick down the last one. So I'm adding that little soccer ball to the inside of my card. And I trim off the overhang, but I'm going to add that overhang to the bottom so it'll look like there's another soccer ball kind of popping up from the bottom of the card. I'm kind of off the screen, aren't I? But, you know, it's in the bottom left-hand corner of the inside of the card. There we are. And that is what it looks like so far. And now I'm pulling out Doodlebug's October Sky stars. And I'm going to add a few stars here. I'll add a black one to this little banner. And I'm going to add the green. Oh, no, I'm not going to add the green ones. I'm going to add a couple more black ones there. Sorry, guys. That's what happens when you make a few cards all at once, eh? You kind of forget what you use on each one. So, and I'm going to add one maybe to her hat as well, just for fun. And there we go. So super easy. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jada Blossom blog, Be Inspired by the Team, the Jada Blossom store, to get your hands on these awesome products. And thanks as always for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. Bye, everybody.